Welcome back to another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs take 3 of 4 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Every single game decided by 1 run or less. We'll break down the series, and I'm going to give you guys my cold hard opinion on Colin Rea. We're going to talk some trade deadline stuff and a potential wild prospect that are pitching trade target that I was not fully anticipating. But before we get into all that, just a big shout out to everyone who has liked the videos, subscribed to the channels, and commented. You guys are the absolute best. Let's hop right into it. The Cubs take 3 of 4 from the Pirates. It wasn't pretty, but wins are win. Every single game decided by 1 run, and the Cubs only lost on the Paul Skeens day, which, again, Paul Skeens didn't get the win, but either way, it's tough to beat Paul Skeens. He's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, thus ending the gauntlet of starting aces the Cubs have had to face this season. Again, every single game decided by a run. The starters did a fantastic job. The bullpen, which since the middle of May has been absolutely fantastic, .90 ERA, an absolutely sensational turnaround. Remember the first month here on Cubs Daily, we were talking about how we need to upgrade the bullpen, how we need to do this and that. Well, my list has now shifted a little bit more towards starting pitching. That is going to become our number one priority, I think, at the deadline. But before that, again, it was not pretty. I have a fun fact. The Cubs' last 10 home games, I guess it's not that fun, they've been averaging 2.89 runs per game, and they are 8-2 in that span. So, a couple key factors there, right? Offense, it comes and go. The way the Cubs were hitting early on in the season, there was just no way that was sustainable. I do think the bats will turn around, of course, because obviously the summer months are going to lead to better weather, better hitting conditions, etc. But it's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows into baseball season. There's 162 games out there. So what a really good sign is that the Cubs are winning games when the offense really isn't producing a lot. And that comes down to 2 key factors. Obviously, pitching has been fantastic to keep the Cubs in these games, but the Cubs defense, they do not make the mistake. They hit the right cutoff man. They get all the outs necessary. They do not beat themselves defensively, which last year might have been more of a glaring problem for this team. And this year, their defense has been absolutely stellar. They make every single play correct. Matt Shaw has been a revelation ever since he came back up at third base. He seems to make every single play at third look really easy. And again, we all know Pete Crow Armstrong. He doesn't officially have a Gold Glove yet, but he makes center field look way too easy, and that should not be allowed. So the Cubs' defense and pitching wins them this series. But let's talk a little bit more about the pitching. The starter yesterday was Mr. Colin Rea, and yeah, he didn't allow a lot of runs or anything of that nature, but the let's say like this, the pipes are beginning to burst, right? Like I kind of see the cup overflowing. I think Colin Rea is a major league pitcher, no doubt about it. But again, over the course of a year, he will be exposed. And the Cubs have been relying on him a little bit too much. I think when everything was said and healthy, when Steele was pitching, etc., Rea was supposed to be more of a long relief option. Ben Brown was working, if Javier Assad was called back up, etc., etc. But Colin Rea, unfortunately, who has been good, right? He's like 4-2 with a 3.86 ERA. Over the last 7 days, his ERA is above 8. His last 5 starts, there's 2 of them in which he gave up 6 runs or more. And, unfortunately, it just has not been getting better. And his stuff's not overwhelming either. Again, he was an ace pitcher. I think a lot more people would know about him, and he wouldn't have just been a 1-year deal, type deal. But I think the pipe is beginning to burst on Colin Rea, and I don't want him to become a liability in our rotation, but the Cubs, again, this is where the Cubs need to focus on the trade deadline, and this is where I think getting a starting pitcher that's competent and can pitch in October is the number one priority, okay? That is the number one priority of this trade deadline. I mean, the bullpen has obviously turned it around. The offense and defense has itself already situated. The Cubs really do not need to add another bat. Again, at the beginning of the year, I thought they might have, but Matt Shaw has filled in, and all he needs to do is truly develop there, right? John Birdie and Vidal Brujan actually played yesterday because they just wanted to give Kyle Tucker a day off and Matt Shaw a day off. So, again, the roster, offensively speaking, I think is set. The bullpen, as much as I would love to add an extra leverage arm, like that would be like a greedy addition to the list, starting pitching is definitely the number one priority. Again, Colin Rea has been spectacular here. I just can't expect him to continue to do this all year, because if he does do it all year, that's when in October he will be exposed. Matthew Boyd has also been sensational. What a great signing for the Cubs. I don't think he is also going to sustain this level of success as well. He does not have a very strong career numbers to back up what he is currently doing. Has he been really good since coming back from Tommy John surgery and being on the Guardians last year? Yes, absolutely. But is it sustainable? That's always the real question. So, Matt Boyd, I would love him as my fifth starter. You know what I'm saying? I would love if he could do this for being our fifth starter. But the Cubs definitely need another high-leverage arm starter. And again, that's where we've previewed guys like Alcantara, right? We've previewed Zach Gallen, maybe, Framber Valdez. The Astros have kind of turned it around a little bit. So I don't think they're going to be getting rid of any of their starting pitching. They're going to probably give it one last go. But again, that's where you have to look at teams like the Diamondbacks, right? Or the Marlins. The Marlins are already out of it. The Rockies, I don't think they really have any starting pitching that would, suffice what the Cubs need. Now, on the other hand, when we're talking about the Rockies, there is a gentleman right here I've been looking for. And how much would this reliever cost for the Cubs? This gentleman by the name of Jake Bird. Okay, Jake Bird is having an absolutely sensational season for the Rockies. And you're like, Steven, it's the Rockies. Someone does technically have to perform on the Rockies, because the Rockies do technically get 24 to 27 outs every single game, okay? They, it's generally 27 outs. They do get them out. It's what happens in between those outs that's really cost the Rockies this year. But if you look at these numbers, right, batting average against below 200, his ERA just a hair above 2. He's got 51 strikeouts and 39 innings pitched. Really well done. And look at that ERA. It's .41 at Coors Field. Coors Field. That is crazy to think about for Jake Bird. And I just, it begs the question, right? Like, how much would a guy like this cost? And, there are parts about it that I worry about personally, right? Like, if he comes to a good team and he actually has to deal with high leverage innings, how good will he be? I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately. But I will say this. He's pitched a lot of innings where his team is losing and he needs to keep the score as is. Those might not be high leverage innings because, the Rockies end up losing the game, but they're leverage in a sense, he's always down. If you're at Coors Field especially, you've got to keep that opposing team off the base pass. He has done a fantastic job of that. So I would like to see him in a situation where he has a lot of success and support. Now, Jake Bird, this could only be maybe a one-season deal where he's fantastic, but I can't imagine it would cost a lot. And obviously the Rockies don't really need him. The Rockies need to lose games and get prospects, some draft capital as well. I mean, you can't trade draft picks, but I don't know. I'm guessing a low AA or single A player that, might not have a potential future on this Cubs team could be traded for a Jake Bird-like. So, I don't know. It's just a thought out there. I saw him. I thought he was having a great year for the Rockies. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is the kind of guy the Cubs need to add to their bullpen. Again, the bullpen has been incredible. Flexen and Pomeranz haven't allowed a run yet. Palencia stepped into the closer's role well. Ryan Presley has been really, really good ever since that rocky game against the Giants in May. And then obviously they're going to get Porter Hodge back as well. So the bullpen doesn't need a whole lot of extra, maybe a few tweaks here and there, but I don't know. If it doesn't cost a lot to go get this guy, I say go and get him. But I still think the sole priority is going to get a starting pitching. And if you really can, swing 2 more starters, because I think that would really just solidify the starting staff. And if that offense gets hot in October, then the Cubs can go to the World Series. No questions asked, man. So that's going to do it for Cubs Daily today. Again, appreciate everyone who has liked, support, and subscribed and commented on the videos. Keep them coming. Comment down below who you think the Cubs should go out and trade for. Who is your ideal trade target? And try your best to be within reason. But I understand if you want to be greedy as well. The Cubs have the capital and the farm system to go get who they want. So who should they go get? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a good rest of your day.